Hi guys, Billy back, and today we're going to be looking at the Military Empire 1/6 scale Ghost 4 figure, serial number GS001. It's just a very simple head sculpt that I got on 16kit.com. We're going to take a quick look at the head sculpt itself, and then we're going to do a little bit of kit bashing to see how it looks on an actual figure. I think it's safe to say it's one of the more out there head sculpts that I've seen for a while. It is got like a sort of Terminator-esque skull on the front with a large sort of tech, future sci-fi sort of piece on the back of their head there, with lots of little sort of like working parts and canisters and all weird sort of things on it. It looks like it could actually come from like a video game like Destiny or Fortnite or something like that. When I saw it, I was definitely like, day one pre-order. I'm very curious what it's like, and as you can see, it's all sort of like metallic Terminator-esque skull at the front, and then on the back it's got that, I don't know what it is, just like a large sort of compartment bit on the back of his head. It's very futuristic and very military looking, and it's quite aggressive looking. You can see that they've given it that sort of really spiky, jutting out steel jawline. Then we've got these canisters at the back that, I don't know, some sort of oxygen or something in there to help them breathe. You can see it's got all those industrial warning signs on the side there. It's got the Ghost 4 logo just on the forehead here, which is quite interesting really. I wasn't expecting to actually have that on the front. But it was advertised that way, but I don't know, for some strange reason I didn't think it would actually come on there. I thought it was just part of the promotional stuff that they were doing. Dark, dirty, dingy sort of metal paint application. It's all speckled and flecky all the way around it. It's like 2 or 3 different colours of metal in there. Looks old and used. You can see all the sculpting details in the side of the skull. This looks a lot like some sort of like Terminator-esque figure, which is really cool. In fact, if they were able to cut this off and just, you know, add it like a rounded skull at the bottom, I think a lot of people would have picked these up just for sort of like kit-bashed, you know, Terminator style figures to go with all their T800s and stuff. You can see like the pistons in the jawline there. The mouth doesn't open or anything, it's just one fixed sculpt. But it looks very mean, doesn't it? It's very anime cyberpunk, you know? It looks like a badass, doesn't it? On the back here, if you pop this open, you can see that it houses a battery, and then when you turn it on, the eyes light up. Now what I like about this actual head sculpt is that the lighting feature is only temporary, so it's there for photographs, but if you leave the light on for any sort of reason, it will turn itself off, which is really good. And you can see like there's sort of like marbling inside the eyepiece there. I'm trying to show it in the camera, but I don't know if it's showing up. You can see there's marbling in the eyepiece, so it's not one straight red light. It does actually have some detail inside the lens. Obviously the light's off now, but yeah, it's actually sound activated, which is really cool. So if you make enough noise, it actually lights back up again. But you've got to really snap, and it's got to be a very loud one right next to the head. So or you can just tap it and the lights will come on, which is really cool because then it doesn't waste out the batteries too much. Give it a tap and it comes back on. It doesn't waste out the batteries, and then if somebody, you don't want to show it off or you want to have a quick look at it with the lights on, you can just open up the cabinet, give it a little tiny tap on the head, the lights will come on. I do like the sculpting around the teeth. It's even got some light weathering on the edges to make it look used. Paint chips just along the edges. A bit tired and dry brushed around all these parts here to highlight those details. It's got these cool little grills and vents on the back. I do love that sort of metallic sheen they've got in it. It really does look nice. Genuinely, this could be like a custom Terminator if you wanted it to be. As it is, I'm just going to use it for just a generic 1/6 scale military figure. So what I've decided to do is get a Phyton M34 body out of the box. Now I've had this for years because I was convinced when this released that there would be just a barrage of sort of Terminator and sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger kits, you know, like clothing and head sculpt kits from all the websites. And I'm actually really disappointed by how many haven't been done. I'm still waiting for a head sculpt and clothing set for Dutch from Predator. Come on, it's a home run, isn't it, with this guy? How many people have Predators but they don't have Dutch? It's a home run as far as I was concerned. So I got this body in anticipation of them doing it, and it's been sitting in the box for years because they have never once attempted to do a Dutch figure from Predator. It's madness. And this is kind of what has taken over from the TTM20 bodies that Hot Toys used to do, which were designed on Schwarzenegger himself. And now this is the body a lot of people use when they're actually trying to do custom Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff. But yeah, today it's not going to be Arnie. It is going to be sort of Terminator-esque, I guess, but not today. And I managed to put a pair of trousers on him, and these are Deathstroke Hot Toys trousers, because I figured that I've got some armor coming, and I figured if these trousers can fit on this body, then the armor can fit over the top, and I was right, they do. And then just a normal 1/6 scale stretchy t-shirt just over the top as a base, although you can see it's actually being stretched here, and there's a hole in this long sleeve top already, just because this is just such a hench body to use, and it's so heavy as well compared to a lot more 1/6 scale stock bodies you get. The weight of these are fantastic. It's got that sort of silicone seamless skin on, and yeah, it's not the best because silicone will obviously degrade over time, but it'll last quite a few years before that happens, so it's not too bad. And like I said, it was just sitting in my box, not being used for anything, so yeah, why not? Might as well make something out of it while I've got the chance. And this head sculpt, I had to modify the base of it because this port here was too small for this massive bulbous neck piece here. It's just really big, and it's really, really tough. And obviously because it's made of metal, there's no sort of give. And the way they've cast this, it's in a hard resin. So yeah, again, there's not much give there. So I had to go in and Dremel out this head port here and pop it on, and it still doesn't fit properly. It's still really high up. But considering I don't want to go too deep yet, because I want to see where the armor sits on the body first, and it's just, there's got some neck armor and stuff like that. Just want to make sure all that fits first before I Dremel even further into this head and make sure that it can actually sit down on the neck properly. And how's that for timing? I had to stop filming because I had to go downstairs and answer the door, and the postman has been, and he's actually delivered all the custom armor pieces that I'm going to use for this figure. So serendipity, I don't know, but with pure luck I've managed to get all the armor pieces today while I was filming this part, because I was going to do it in 2 parts, but it doesn't look like I have to now. Nice touch. Okay, it looks like we've got quite a few pieces of armor here. You'll see exactly what it is when I get them all out of the bag. You'll be like, ah, these are actually based on another figure, aren't they? And they certainly are. But for the moment, let's get these open, get everything out, and have a look at exactly what everything looks like once it's out of its bag. Okay, and here's all the pieces of armor outside of the packaging. Just happened to turn up on the doorstep while I was filming the first part of the video, and yeah, you could easily tell exactly what these armor pieces originated from. You can see that these were Arkham Origins Deathstroke by Hot Toys, painted black. Might have to do some touch-ups here and there because there's a bit there that's chipped. But yeah, these are the shoulder pads. We've got the thigh armor. We've got the chest piece, the neck piece just here. We've just got, this is the chest piece, the back piece, the abs. We've got the sword holder, but no sword, which is a shame. You've got the shoes here, but it looks like they're hollow, and they come with the grip separate, so it looks like you'd actually put feet in there, like from whatever body you use, glue them shut or seal them together, and then boom, you've got the exact portholes that you need for the feet. But yeah, it's all lovely sort of jet black, which I think will work really well with this head sculpt here. With the M34 body, I think they can all fit on there. I mean, Deathstroke was a pretty big figure by Hot Toys, so yeah, these armor pieces should fit on. It doesn't come with any strapping. It does come with the buckles, for stuff that you can fix together to make strapping, but doesn't actually come with a strapping itself. So I might have to dig around and see if I need any sort of like material to make the actual straps and make things fit onto the body properly and be held there. And it even comes with the actual mask of Deathstroke, which is really cool because you could have like a stealth Deathstroke. But you can see this is the front part of the mask and this is the back part, and you can put sort of any head sculpt you want in there. So you can modify and adapt just a crappy head sculpt with just so you can reveal the eye through there if you want, or you could have something even more interesting inside. But yeah, I won't be needing it for this because this is the head I'm going to be using. But yeah, it's nice to have one of these masks just in case you ever want to make a custom Deathstroke mask, or you know, worst case scenario, I could probably sell it online. Some of these have been in bags and they're a little bit warped, so obviously they're going to need a hairdryer to warm them up and reshape them so that they actually fit onto the body properly. But we can actually see whether or not this will fit. This should be fun, looking forward to it. Okay, and once I put all the armour on the M34 body with a few mods, this is what it looks like, and it kind of, yeah, it looks, I think it looks pretty cool myself. Obviously there was a few pieces of armour missing from the original Deathstroke figure, especially on the shoulder pads here. There's a bottom bit here missing and a top bit here, so it doesn't look fully complete. So if you were thinking about doing a stealth Deathstroke, there might be a couple of bits of armour that, you know, you'll either have to source elsewhere or just live without. But for me, I actually really like how it looks. Now with the M34 body, I had to do something that I never thought I'd ever have to do and also ever have to say, and that is that I had to scissor the arse cheeks off. Yeah, it was a bit weird saying that out loud now that I'm hearing it. It's very surreal. But yeah, unfortunately, because of the belt here, it's a little bit smaller than what you would expect, and unfortunately his redonkulous butt cheeks were getting in the way of the belt being able to close. So I took all the clothing off and I just used a small pair of scissors and just went ahead and started scissor cutting off bits of his arse cheeks. So oh, the things you do for this hobby, honestly. But anyway, this is what he looks like once he's all fully kitted out. Now I put some silver gunmetal and black wash into the actual scratches on the armour, just so they didn't look really cheap. I'm still not entirely happy with how the scratches have sort of come out, but for the moment it doesn't look too bad. Now I've modified the head because the neck port, or the ball on the neck port, is way too big for that head sculpt, and it's fully resined up, so there is no sort of rubber neck port in the bottom of it, so you have to modify it yourself. So in the end I managed to Dremel out this whole area here. It is loose on the figure, it rolls around quite a lot, but I can always use some Needle Tight, put it back inside the port and get it to sit firmly on there and fixed. However, I don't want to fix it just yet, just because I'm not 100% certain if the armour is sitting how I really want it to. I'm still going to be futzing with it a little bit over time, and also if I did actually put the Needle Tight in there and got it all fixed up and secured on the ball joint, it would probably mean it would be either difficult or nigh on impossible to take the head off again, and I don't really want to do that right now because I'm in sort of two minds. I could have this head sculpt on there, which is really cool. Let's see if we can get the eyes lit up. There we go. Again, it makes him look like some sort of big huge Terminator robot mercenary. Or I could use the 1/6 scale Deathstroke head sculpt by 16kit.com, and it's not perfect on there. Again, this would need modifying because this huge ball joint just gets in the way of everything. But if I put it on there, we kind of get a rough idea of what this would look like on the figure. Voila. And it looks like a pretty mean, pretty stealthy Deathstroke, doesn't it? Unfortunately, there's no belt that goes across there that come with it, so this sheath is practically useless for this figure at the moment, unless I figure out a way of fitting a belt on here to go across and then use some straps to secure it in place. But it does also come with the smaller chest piece, so that you could put that on there so that you get the arms sort of crossed over and things like that. if you so wished. I'm not sure if I will or will not use that, but you have to stick this little plastic bit that comes with the set on separately, so you can pop it in and out of that chest piece there. And then you've got just a load of hands. We've got sort of gripping hands, action hands. These are all sort of recasts from the original. You can see that's the sword gripping hand. And then we've got some fisted hands. And yeah, just other gripping hands. And something I didn't need to use was this helmeted head sculpt, but it's empty. Doesn't get used for anything. But if I need to, I could, you know, always use this for another model. I mean, look, you've got to put a new head sculpt in there because there is no eye. But you could obviously put a little bit of a head sculpt in with an eye to make it look better. But as it is, yeah, that's just like a new helmet that I could use for him holding it just in his hand here, which would look really cool, I think. Other than that, that's about it. He's got the full articulation that you would expect from a Phison, but obviously the armour does restrict the movement a little bit, but it still works. And these shoulder bits are a little bit loose on here. I could always fix them better. I was trying to get the shoulder armour fitted on, and I was using straps, and the straps just on here, just under the armpit, so it keeps them protected, but obviously there is a little bit of looseness in there. Obviously everything got heated up with hair dryers and moved about, and getting the ab armour attached to this neck piece here it wasn't too difficult, but it was a bit of a pain in the butt. Then getting the belt attached on here was again a little bit of modding needed to be doing, just a little bit of sanding down so everything fitted snugly. And then around the back we've got this back piece here. Again, looks really cool. You can see this is stuck into a little slot on the top here, and then he's got all the like battle damage, which I tried to highlight a little bit, not too much. But again, you've got this little notch where I think the belt piece usually sits in the back of, and then you can have the sheath with the sword going across, but unfortunately it didn't come with that belt, so it's just like a small little hole in the back there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might fit something in there to cover it up, but at the moment it's not bothering me, to be honest. And I actually like the way the belt sort of sits in the back here. I've put some little chrome accents in the bottom just to break it up a little bit, and maybe sort of tie it in with this sort of head sculpt a little bit more. And then the knee pads, again, they didn't come with straps. So what I ended up doing, so I got my old 1/12 scale Mez KO Punisher chest plate here that I wasn't using, and yeah, I found that these little straps on here worked really well, so I ended up cutting them out and just sticking them onto the knee pads, so that you can see there is actually like little buckles in the end here, and it looks like real pleather just going around the back and keeping those knees in place. However, there isn't a lot of room between the boots and the thigh armour either, so they almost sit in there naturally anyway without the straps. So the straps just add a little bit more security so they don't fall off anytime soon. But that thigh armour fits really well on this M34. The knee pads again fit pretty nicely. They're a little bit big, but no big deal. And then the boots are fantastic, and the feet. Now these boots are hollow, and they come in two different parts. The sole and the top part of the boot become separate. So what I ended up doing was getting the M34 feet that came with the figure, and I just stuck them inside the top part here. Then I glued the soles on, and what do you know, perfect size portholes for the feet. So yeah, again, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And then I had to slightly modify the holes in the bottom of the hands here and warm them up fiercely before I popped them onto these wrist pegs, because the wrist pegs, just like the ball joint, are really big on the Phison figures, so it just becomes a little bit of a pain in the butt. However, it finally all came together, and I think it looks pretty good. And then when we pop the head sculpt on top, I've got to be able to push this down a little bit more, because at the moment it's sitting a bit loose and a little bit high. But as it is, it doesn't look too bad to me. Let's get the lights on. It looks absolutely boss, completely futuristic and pretty mean looking. And you know what? This could easily work as a sort of pseudo bad guy for Batman and other characters in the collection. So the paint application on the head sculpt is fantastic. The light up feature with the sound activation is really quite handy, because you don't have to keep pulling bits off and turning lights on and off and all that sort of stuff, which is really good. It's sound activated but also vibration activated, so if you wanted to, you could clap and the eyes come on, which is really handy. I'm quite happy with the result. This guy looks pretty mean on the shelf. Yeah, a couple of little tweaks, especially with that head sculpt, needs to come down a little bit. This shoulder armor is a little loose, so it's got to come up a little bit more. And then we've got to push this neck piece down. But other than that, I'm super happy. The articulation's still pretty good. You can still get a lovely T-pose out of him like that. Still get nice movement in the knees. You can also get some proper bends in the arms. Here we go. You get some torso articulation, you get some waist movement, neck movement. Not a lot because of this piece here, it restricts the movement in the neck, but it was the same with the Deathstroke figure. And other than that, I just want to hunt down some really cool looking technologically advanced guns that I can put on this guy to make him look even meaner than he does already. So yeah, pros of the head sculpt. Very nicely painted, very cool, very quirky design. Terrible neck port that, you know, might need some modification, but you've also got to be careful because of the electronics inside, and you don't want to damage those. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. If you do me a favour now, if you can get the fuck out of my cave, I'm going to have a look at my shelves and see exactly where this guy could go. In fact, not only could be a Batman villain, he could actually be like a villain for Elite Battle Angel or something like that. Hey, maybe even the Predators. Bye bye guys.